McCauley, and welcome to Education Update. I'm joined by Paul Holzer, Executive Director.
Great to be here. Thanks again.
All right, Paul, we are here to update the viewers on this week's Board of Education meeting.
Absolutely.
This past Tuesday, the board had its regularly scheduled meeting, and some general items on the agenda. One of them, the community is definitely talking about right now is Clark School. As you know, the students and teachers and all faculty had to really be relocated because of the chemicals or the hazardous materials that have been found in Clark. And so that was mentioned briefly at Tuesday's board meeting.
Yeah, and I think the superintendent took a long time to just explain what she had done to inform the community. And I think I got a better idea of the effort that was put in. It seemed like she definitely did a better job than per norm at Hartford Public Schools and trying to get the word out and kind of give people information. But it seems like it's actually not a toxic amount of PCBs in the air, but they got to fix it, and they're going to do it right, and it's going to take some time. So, I mean, it seems like she's doing the right thing, but it kind of stinks for the kids and families of Clark, that's for sure.
Definitely, given the history at Clark School, Clark has just had an arrangement made or a partnership created with CREC, and
state money, millions of dollars being pumped into through the commissioners network from the state.
Yeah,
this great turnaround, right? They're halfway through the first year, and
boom. Here's another blow to Clark.
Yeah,
so
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, hang in there, Clark families.
Yeah, and hopefully, to the superintendent, right? Like, do all you can as fast as you can, because this experiment, people need to know if it's working. Right. The first Commissioners Network school partnership with Jamoki, we all know how that turned out. Right. So this is with CREC. We got to protect this experiment and actually see it through.
Yeah. So some other items of note on Tuesday's agenda.
Yeah. So it looks like the district just got another $1 million and maybe another $1 million each year from the Nellie Mae Education Foundation to do student-centered and blended learning. And board member Robert Cotto, who's always has something really interesting to say, was saying, like, student-centered, like, why isn't all of our education student-centered? And the district administrators kind of, I think, boldly just told the truth and said, like, yeah, it should be, but it's not. It's more of like an industrial factory system, and it's not meeting kids where they're at their level. It's not allowing them to progress, at their own pace, right? It's keeping kids in a grade even if they're ready to move on. I mean, it isn't student-centered, right? The kids don't see themselves in the curriculum. They don't have much ownership over, like, picking which activities to do. They admitted to all that, but they said that, with this money, they're really trying to change the district. And we think this is a game changer at Achieve Hartford. Obviously, we have our own initiative to help the community understand how to get education to be much more student-centered. And part of that is the blended piece. When you hear blended, that means it's kind of the use of technology is very strategic. It's not just like a kid on a word processor typing. It's like a kid using technology to get deeper into the curriculum, to get into the work from home.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of cool ways that technology is being used, and it's the 21st century. So, like, we all better get on this bus.
It's huge. And I would encourage everyone in our viewing audience, stay tuned. We have some exciting events coming up, and for everyone to have a deeper dive into student-centered and blended learning.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. This is a 3-year initiative for us, so there's going to be a ton of activities in 2015. Some of it's very deep into parent training. Some of it's citywide events. So maybe next month's show, let's just lay out everything that's happening in March, April, and throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's good.
That'd be great.
Okay. So one other item, I think that stirred a lot of passion at Tuesday's board meeting.
This was like the item on the agenda, right? These board meetings have gotten a little bit boring, but this was like, once you read it on Friday, like Moylan Montessori moving to West Hartford. Wow.
Yeah.
So we wrote about this a little bit, and we tend to kind of agree with the sentiment shared by Shelley Best that it's a real shame to have what is a good school, going to be a really high performing school, Montessori model. Parents will love it. Kids love it. It's a magnet school. Hartford runs it. They were supposed to find a location for it in the city. It needs a lot of land, years looking, can't find anything. they're going to West Hartford.
Right, right. So, it's interesting because this is obviously Moylan is experiencing this issue right now, but it's not a unique situation because Kinsella is also in a place where it needs to locate a new building for its high school. And I'm just saying that to say the board is being put in a position to make some really tough choices.
I think what the takeaway from this is that there needs to be a lot better planning and leadership around building and capital improvement in Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, this is our district is unique. There's like new schools popping up all the time.
Right.
Chef, or it's the reform and redesign and stuff. We've got to kind of get our stuff together so that when you have a great school in Hartford, you're not left making a decision, like Rich Waring was saying, where the kids need a building now. There's one in West Hartford. Let's locate a Hartford public school in West Hartford because it makes sense for the suburban parents. It's like,
right.
I mean, he didn't say that, but I mean, a lot of this is chef driven, and
Yes.
It's like, listen, the suburban parents wanted something very close to West Hartford. This is in West Hartford,
Yeah.
right? So that's a huge win, but
Mhm.
it's a loss for the city. And I think there's some parents that are upset, even though they didn't show up on Tuesday night to voice their discontent.
Well, Rich Waring pointed out several factors that went into this decision, and a lot of it has to do with just coordination between the Board of Ed, the City of Hartford, the school building committee. Like, there's a lot of players involved in deciding how a building becomes a school building and land that's allocated to it. It's not just so cut and dry. So,
Yeah, I would love to see them still try to find a solution to keep this school in the city. Frankly, I mean, the vote is the vote, but it's not. They're not entering into a binding agreement yet. I hope that folks are still trying to find a solution. I mean, I think Rich Waring's one rationale that was very strong, which was, even if we did find a building at this point, it would take years to develop it,
right,
unless it's already a school, right? So it would take a pretty bold decision to locate it at a current school, and maybe say, as this Montessori Moreland grows, this school is going to close. And I don't think in an election year anyone wants to talk about any schools closing. So I don't know if there's a better solution, but it is a shame that it has gotten to this point, because Shelley Best said it right. I mean, we're losing a crown jewel in Hartford, and we need all the great schools to stay in Hartford.
Yes. So. No, that's true. Well, we have one last item we wanted to bring to your attention. Achieve Hartford will be hosting several events actually next week. We are launching a new data website, smarterhartford.org. And so we're excited about that because it is going to be your school data source. So what we did with this website is we really poured into it all the data points that we could get our hands on.
everything we have is not quite on the site yet, but it's going to be right there for folks to read and to play with. So there's some interactive components of the site, and it's got the mapping, the school finder for school choice.
Right. So if you're a parent and you want to know what are your school options all in one place, visually, you'll be able to type in your address, the grade in which your child is entering, and actually see on a map exactly what your options are, and then go a little bit further and get school profiles of the schools that you're interested in. I mean, every school every school is profiled, but if you want a deeper dive into CMT CAP performance, the ELL population at a school, principal retention at a school, the distance from your home to the school,
chronic absenteeism. I mean, soon we're going to try to get discipline indicators up there, teacher turnover. I mean, any indicator of a strong school, we're working with the district to try to get it up onto that site, because I think for years it's been one indicator, right? Is the school good or bad? I don't know. What's the test score? Right. And even that test score, the way it's presented, doesn't tell you much.
Exactly.
So we're also trying to get people to think about test scores totally differently. It's not about last year's third graders versus this year's. It's about last year's third graders to where they are now as fourth graders. Are they actually improving? Scary when you look at it like that.
It is,
Yeah.
but so valuable. So we're excited. Next Thursday, really, the site goes live. And to kick it all off, we're going to have an event next Saturday, January 31st, the State of North End Schools, right here in the North End of Hartford, Liberty Christian Center at corner of Albany and Vine. You are invited. It is a morning event. We start off at 9:30 with breakfast, but a very robust panel discussion about where we are in our North End, state of North End schools, really, and not just the state of North End schools, but looking forward at what are the opportunities that also exist.
Yeah, and that event's going to be a great opportunity for us to just say, like, what is it that the community is feeling about the state of North End schools, and how can Achieve Hartford help make it better? And similarly on the site, there's a way for you to say, I have a thought, I have a question. There's a way to submit it. So even if you're not on the computer, grab your kid, grab your son, grab your grandson or granddaughter, and say, I want to know this question. Go to this site and submit it for me, and we will get back to you.
Yes.
Phone, email, whatever. We'll make it work. We really want to kind of get the city to ask these tough questions and then say that we're going to try to answer them for you.
Right.
Yeah, even if it annoys the school district.
So I think that's it.
That's it. I'll add this one thing. So, it's not, hugely important for every audience member to every viewer to know this, but we're doing a lot around college readiness, and we've created for the first time a college support network of all those programs, those nonprofit community-based programs like Career Beginnings and Boys and Girls Club and Urban League and Hartford Youth Scholars, anyone who's doing college prep programming for kids,
right?
And even the colleges that run some of these programs, to come together and share their data and to say, well, which kids are we serving? Which kids are we not serving? Which high schools are we in? Which high schools are we not? And it's getting us to really think about, well, once we do know exactly how many kids aren't getting any college prep services, what are we going to do about it? And I think I leave this question with viewers, which is, are our high school kids on the internet enough, on their phones enough to be able to search what programs are available and to make decisions for themselves about which program they want to enroll in? Or should it just be whatever school you go to, who are they partnering with, and that's all you have? Right. So we shop online for a whole lot of things, right? I go to Amazon and I can pretty much buy anything from a car to, an iPod. But should we do the same thing with the services in our city? Should we create an online market maybe and have people shop and say, you know what, I've read about that program, I want to do that program. It's just it's a big thought that's come up a bunch and as we've talked about these programs and how they service kids and how many kids they serve and stuff. So if you want to tell us what you think, there's a way to do that?
Absolutely. You can email us, info@Achieve Hartford, or you can leave us a comment on Facebook, Twitter. Give us a call, 860-244-3333. We welcome your comments, your feedback, your suggestions on this program, and as well as the answer to that to that big question.
Post it on Facebook and Twitter for me, so people
definitely can start a nice conversation about that. Okay, well, we will see you in February after the next Board of Education meeting. Until then, take care.
Thanks, Nyesha.
Thanks, Paul.